Hey, good morning. Gonna give it a second here. Uh, we'll get started right around 9 o'clock Eastern time. So, got about 10, let's see, 12 minutes before we start the stream proper. So, just hang out till then. Okay. Okay then, I think we're good to get started. Hello, and welcome back to Modular Mornings. If you remember from last time, we added in some drums, and we used a few new modules, including a clock multiplier, a clock divider, and some Boolean logic gates to add in some interesting rhythmic patterns. One quick housekeeping note. If you remember from 2 episodes ago, we have our left channel and our right channel both playing chords. And I decided to actually do the homework and look up what a proper chord is, because today we're going to be using volt per octave tracking to actually play something in key. So I wanted to make sure that the chords that we were playing are actually real chords in key. So our left channel is actually playing an A chord, and I'm just going to put the notes on the screen real quick for you. So this is the notes that are in the A chord that we're playing, which is A4, the middle A is at 440 hertz, A3, which is the octave below that, is 220 hertz, C sharp 4 is 277.18, and E4 is 329.63, so that's playing an A chord in our left channel, which sounds like this. And then in our right channel, we're playing an E chord, which are these values here. E4 is 329.63, E3 is 174.61, G sharp 4 is 415.30, and B4 is 493.88. That's what this sounds like over here. Now it's alternating between an A chord in our left channel and an E chord in our right channel, kind of bouncing back and forth. And I also set our bass notes to be at 55 hertz, which is A1, because every time you have one of these values, it goes down an octave, right? So it goes from 440 to 220 to 110 to 55. So that is playing at 55. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and hide these values now. Now you've got these set to play chords. And today we're going to introduce a new module, but in order to do that, we need to once again go to the VCV Rack website, go to the library page, and install the module. When I was fiddling around with this to try and find this module, it wasn't coming up in the search, but what you can do instead, I'll just take this down real quick so I don't have to talk over it. So what you can do instead is when you're on the VCV Rack website and you go to library, there's a little option at the top of that page which says plugins. If you select that, it is actually a list of different sets of modules that come as like a nice little prepackaged bundle. What I highly recommend doing, if you just want to have everything at your fingertips, is going through and adding every free module. It'll say on it whether or not it's free or premium, and you can just go and check all the boxes all the way down, add all of them to your cart, quote unquote, and then again, once you do that, you'll go into the VCV Rack app, you'll go into library, and you'll update all your plugins, and then when you restart VCV, all of them will be available. The one that we're going to do today is the Aria Salvatrice Signature Series Darius. So in order to find this module on that library plugins page, search Aria Salvatrice, and then it'll come up with an Aria Salvatrice Signature Series collection. Download that, and we're going to use the module called Darius out of that pack. So I'm just going to go ahead and import that now so you can see what it looks like. So this module here, let's make some room for it right in the middle of the screen. We're actually going to move it later anyway. So this module here is Darius. The reason I like this module is it is a branching random sequence sequencer. So essentially what happens, and I can click through the step to kind of show you what it looks like, but it starts here on the root note, and then every step it picks randomly if it's going to go up or down from that step and creates a branching path. And so you get a random sequence depending on where it decides to go each time. Make sense? The other thing I like about it is that it can play in key, right? And so this, it says, is at C4. We actually want it to be in A, so we're going to change this to be, that's minor, 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 pentatonic, pentatonic, whole. Did I pass major? And I just didn't see it. Oh, there it is. C major, okay? And then we're going to change the key to be not C, but A major. That's what we're going to play in today. And it also has a min and a max. So you can set, okay, I want the minimum to be at 3 or wherever. So we want our minimum to be A3, and we want our max, we'll go up to A5. So it's got a nice wide 2-octave range that it can kind of hop around in. And then we'll also just go ahead and click this button here, which randomizes the CV values over here to be in between A3 and A5. There we go. So I'll turn all of these knobs to be between those values. So what we'll do next is we'll drag this down over here, and we're going to create a lead line using this. So once again, we're going to need a couple of things. We're going to need our VCO, an ADSR, a VCF. Luckily we have an open VCA slot down here from when we made our baseline. And then we can use this. I actually think it's a little bit easier if we also use another sequencer, and we can initialize this to put it back to normal. We're going to hook all this stuff up the same that we did before. So this will hook up to here. The reset trigger will hook up to our trigger pulse. Where our left step on Darius is also going to go to our clock here. Boop. And then our reset on Darius, if I can find it, hold on. Our reset, we can hook up to the same trigger, boop, and then when we click this, all right, now everything should be in sync once again. The drums might be a little out of sync, so let's just turn it up real quick to make sure. So what we're going to do next is we're going to have this VCO set to our initial value of A4, which is 440. And then we're going to fool around with all of this stuff to add in a lead line. Let's make our attack really low, our release kind of long. That'll make it very pingy and plucky. Turn this up, we'll turn our resonance up. Okay. So we can decide on what waveform we want to use. Let's do, we don't have any triangle waves yet, so let's do triangle. Our gate is going to be the gate output of the sequencer. Our output of this is going to be our linear control of the VCA. Our input here is going to be our low pass filter output from our VCF. Also, sorry, I'm a little sniffly today. And then the output is going to go to our, we'll do left channel for now. We might put it in both channels. We might do something interesting where we alternate this one. We could also do a kind of a wet and a dry using some delay if we want to do that. So when we turn this up, this is going to already be making noise. It should be making a constant A beat in our left channel. Yep, we can hear it. Okay, so we at least know it's there. But what we need to do now is introduce this Darius sequencing, which is currently random but in key, into our module. What we're going to do instead of what we did last time, or rather in the very first episode when we used our knobs and our sequencer to use frequency modulation, what we're going to do instead is we're going to take the CV out of Darius and put it into our V/oct in our VCO. That's volt per octave tracking. So that means it's going to play in key because an actual piano or a synthesizer that you're using that has a keyboard on it plays where between each of the octaves, it's 1 volt, right? So if you're going from A to A, that's 1 volt difference in terms of actual voltage that's going to it. So we're going to use our CV, which is control voltage, from Darius into our volt per octave, and now it's going to play in this randomized sequence something in key. Okay, so to me that's a little high pitch, so let's bring this down instead of A5 to the A4. And I'm not really digging some of these patterns that it's spitting out, so let's just randomize that CV again. Alright, off to a pretty good start, but I'm not sure I like it hitting on every note, so let's do... Alright, that's a pretty good start. I like the kind of flow to it. I like that it's going kind of randomly and moving through all these. So what else can we do to create some extra movement and texture? So one of my favorite tricks, if you want to call it a trick, is to use our dry signal, which is our normal thing coming out in one channel, but in the other channel adding in delay. So we'll go back down to our VCV default modules, and I have all of these modules here, but one of them is delay. So for delay, what we can do is instead of just sending directly from the VCA out, we can send it from the VCA into the delay module. And then from there, we can put it in, let's do our right channel. Let's turn this back up. So it's going to be a slight delay in our right channel compared to our left. Right now, it's also creating that initial downbeat. If we wanted to, we can turn this mix all the way up. And now it's only the delayed note in our right channel compared to the down we actually beat in our left, which let's set our bass instead of at 55, let's set it to 110. Oh, it's because the CV values were not randomized, so it's just going to play the same note over and over again. There we go. Now let's reinitialize. Which I think is very fascinating. But the VCV Rack does allow you to actually play notes with a keyboard if you want to do that, using this volt per octave concept. But for now, we're going to record this as our lesson and call it. Okay, well, thank you for joining me for another episode of Modular Mornings. I hope you enjoyed the lessons that you learned so far. Tomorrow will probably be our last of our default basic lessons on how to use some of the basic functionality of VCV Rack, and then we'll start getting experimental with it and just start pulling modules, figuring out what they do, tweaking knobs, and seeing what kind of interesting sounds we can come up with. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.